Super Sunday of the Japan Premier League Season 10. Heading towards the business end of a carnival of cricket here at the Sano International Cricket Ground. We've got East Kanto Sunrisers taking on the North Kanto Lions. Two teams desperate for a victory this afternoon. North Kanto playing their final game of the round robin, and a very good chance of missing out on even a placement game tomorrow with a defeat this afternoon. They take on Kendall Katawaki Fleming's East Kanto Sunrisers, who are needing a win for their own aspirations and trying to chase down the Kansai Chargers, who have rather bitterly charged to an undefeated 2-win and 1-no result start to begin their campaign. They enjoy an afternoon off here at the Sano International Cricket Ground, the home of Japanese cricket. Daniel Bezic alongside Garth Thomas in the commentary box. And Garth, North Kanto Lions staring down the barrel of missing out completely of playing any cricket on the final day, and they take on the defending champions, who themselves will have lamented a rather mediocre start to their campaign as well. It's a big match-up, this.
Yep, you've said it. The loss here, the North Kanto Lions receiving finished 5th in the final game of the round robin, and they'll take no part in the finals afternoon, set for play tomorrow 2 p.m. As you say, Kansai Chargers. Well, they've got 1 foot in the final, not completely, depending on results in the final 2 rounds. Another round early tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. At the moment, Kansai Chargers sit at the top of the table, 5 points from their 3 matches played. South Kanto Super Kings, East Kanto Sunrisers and the West Kanto Hurricanes all sit in second equal place on 2 points. And as you mentioned earlier, the Kanto Lions lagging at the bottom with just the 1 point, and that came from an abandoned match in round 1 yesterday morning.
Yeah, quite frankly, we were surprised we were going to get any action at all yesterday after all the rain we popped on the Friday night here in Sano, looking out the window, and at one stage the ground here was looking more like a swimming pool than a cricket ground. But done an unbelievable job, especially on the number 1 field. A few troubles on number 2, as you said, yesterday morning. And we've got ourselves a key battle here straight up in the form of James Baisley taking the new ball for North Kanto. Marquee man, of course, for the Lions. Bowling to number 7, Mitch Jamieson of East Kanto, of course, their marquee signing for the tournament as well. Not only that, Kendall Katawaki Fleming has a good on strikers, and of course the Japan senior men's international captain. Showed glimpses Jamieson in front of us here in the morning of day 1. And himself dismissed for 19. Underway. Full, and Jamieson happy just to pick up the 1 into the leg side. Just noticed that Baisley might have lost his footing a little bit there and follow through. One to keep an eye on. We have noted a couple of times that run-up has been a little bit tricky for the fast bowlers here at the Karasawa end.
Yeah, it's almost had a curse on it, hasn't it? Just looking across quickly to ground 2. Keeper Yamamoto Lake has taken Josh Brown's wicket. Full of the innings.
It's hit the back pad, I think, of Katawaki Fleming. The appeal goes up. And Burrs unmoved.
Yeah, have to agree. It seemed like pad, didn't it?
I'll run through the teams for you in a moment as well. As we mentioned, it's not been a campaign to write home about as yet for the Lions in the field this afternoon. Down the track, Kendall Katawaki Fleming pummels that one and over the rope, signalled by Adam Burrs. It's a real statement early on against a bowler of immense quality, the Japan national senior men's captain. First jab, I'm sure I say more of a haymaker blow. His ground this time. It should pick up a second if Jamison's aware. In the end, not quite watching the ball, that little misfield in there, cover the bobble. We just quickly run through the teams. Abdullah Sajid, Abhishek Anand, Benjamin Nicol-Davis, who was a key man on day one for the Sunrisers, fellow all-rounder Ibrahim Takahashi, and Katawaki Fleming, Hensel of the Bell, Jamison, Fujioka Fletcher Shima, that is, Shoma Slater, Supun Navaratna, and Zubai Khan. Jamison defending his cover, and quick look at North Khan, so desperate for a win, led of course by Rayo Sakurano Thomas, Akash Gamire, Ashanta Chandamar, Gufran Mir, Baisley, as we see here, James Baisley taking the new ball. Korshan Kulasuria, you see at the top of the order. Kazumasa Ratsuka, hero of match day one. Casey Oyaka, Koji Agre Parbe, Luke and I Bates, Mana Mutari Giant make up that team at 11 today, all the lines. Top edge, there's a man running in, he should hold on to this. And James Baisley bounces out the marquee man in Jamieson.
Yeah, brilliant dismissal plan, obviously. James Baisley's, 200 centimetres, tall lad, bangs it in, and batsman falls for it, Mitchell Jamieson going to pull, and as a result, caught comfortably, looked to be Kulasuria. First scalp here for the North Kanta Lions.
Huge appeal goes up on ground number 2. All on figures of the South Kanto Super Kings watching on. A wide was signalled by Chris Thurgate, so maybe an appeal for a catch down the leg side. Early blow, and a key one for the Lions, who are again desperate to taste some success here at the tournament. And if anyone is ever going to extract any bounce or pace or life out of the surface, it will be a man who, 200 centimetres tall, James Baisley, almost 10 years now of senior domestic experience in Australia, and more effective with ball than bat thus far at the tournament. Meanwhile, Chandamar's off spin. Shanta Chandamar against the Japan senior men's captain. And close in on the leg side. The power play, of course, as the two fielders allowed out. Situated as a deep mid wicket and long on. Hiratsuka, Kazumasa Hiratsuka long on. Thomas opting for that close in mid-wicket fielder, maybe just for that one popping up. Easy one. Bring Abhishek Anand on strike for the Sunrisers. Number 3, of course, one of the 4 retained players pre-draft for the defending champions. Software engineer by trade in Japan. Full toss. Hasn't quite got all of it, but it will still run away to the rope. Good start for the right-hander. Look to build after that early wicket, Garth Thomas.
Yeah, Chandamay's been a key bowler for the North Kanto team. He's taken the most wickets for North Kanto, 4 for 46, his figures prior to this match. Short mid off.
10 runs in his first 2 digs to begin the campaign. Two overs in the books here in Sana. 14 for 1 with defending champions Sunrisers.
Yeah, they've won it 3 times, East Kanto Sunrisers, last year, 2022 and 2019. This being the 10th edition of the JPL. I believe it to be the best year as the depth continues to grow in Japanese cricket domestically and those abroad that play for Japan. 5 marquee Australian players have come over for the weekend of festivities.
Obviously again, rips one past Abhishek Anand at pace. Those who follow Australian domestic will probably remember Paisley as early as about 10 years ago when the Ryobi One Day Cup actually had a Cricket Australia sort of a developing 17 in that competition, where he first sort of found his feet. I'm sure there'll be stories. He played in the Under-19 World Cup in 2014. Now 12 years later, Japan about to make their second appearance at that tournament, but I'm sure plenty of experiences he can pass on to those players going through. He earned his Queensland contract off the back of that tournament. Games taken into the UK as well. He played a season at Kent's One Day up there. Well struck. Past the backward point. No one within Kui of that. Timing good from Anand, who moves to 9. Let's click onto this.
He's going for his tippy toes, didn't he? And just cut down. Quick outfield now. Raced along the turf.
Gone. The short ball brings about a batter's downfall once more. Face of the bat straight to the man at that deep gully. Keshi Okai looks like it, gully there, holding on to a good catch. And into some catching practice there, unfortunately. Not that North Kanto will mind too much.
Similar ball to the one before, wasn't it? Well executed, close to the body. A lot of batting depth in the East Kanto Sunrisers squad. Benjamin Davis, Anderson, Jabir Khan can hit a ball. He's in a number of games through his local club, Sana, coming in around 7 or 8. Takuri, check it out, into the bell. A lot of depth to come for East Kanto.
The man who really pulled them out of the fire on match day 1, Benjamin Davis in at the crease alongside his senior national captain. Just 150 with Yuki Takahashi turning the game for the Sunrisers. He's looking to go short again. One for the over. Yet Baisley, again, we were talking about where the game can take you. Mikey has shown up here in Japan. He also played in the Western Shield, which is the European Cricket Network T10 event that they put on once a year. It features regional-based teams and regionally international-based teams. He played for the World 11 in that tournament. He claimed a wicket with his first ball and he hit a six facing the first ball in that campaign. Playing on the synthetic there in Spain. End of the third over. 18 for 2. The North Lions chase a victory here at the tournament.
Round 2, we have West Kanto Hurricanes taking on South Kanto Super Kings. Hurricanes batting currently 9 for 2. They've lost a couple of their big hitters, Josh Brown and Lachlan Yamamoto Lake. So a good start with the ball from South Kanto.
Well fielded off his own bowling on that occasion. And the mind of the second over. Hadawaki Fleming looking to find the gap. He's only found the fielder's hands. He tried to manufacture one in between the two fielders and just left it hanging in the air a fraction too long. The man running around. Good catch, Kulasuria.
Yeah, it was a good catch, wasn't it? He probably had to make 6 to 8 metres, but he judged the ball well and had to take it at shoulder height. What is a big wicket in Kado Aki Fleming. Chandamat continues to chalk up wickets in his column. Just wonder if he had any sun to contend with. Not really, it's mostly hidden behind the clouds at the moment, isn't it? It's probably 21 degrees, but nice gentle breeze. Nice playing conditions. Day 2 of the JPL. Of course, the final day tomorrow on Monday, but part of a Golden Week holiday here in Japan. So, all of these players able to stay for the entirety of the tournament.
There was a bit of chatter around that we might see some rain this afternoon, but at least at this point, the man in the mountains are doing us a favour. Just like you have to on match day 1, there's a chance that Benjamin Davis has to pull his team along. He's joined at this point by wicket-keeper batter Supun Navaratna. He's got a freebie in the form of a wide.
Well, Baisley with his height banging them in, bowling short of length, scored about 2 wickets for him.
With a leave alone. Happens when you lose early wickets. Chewed up deliveries now in the power plays. 2 new batters try and work their way into proceedings. Over the top of the short cover, Supun Navaratna off the mark with a thumping boundary.
I think we saw higher scores in the afternoon games yesterday compared to the morning. Just looking through.
I mean, South Kanto here were chasing 140-ish, 145-ish, weren't they yesterday? And they got there pretty easily, and they probably would have made the score in excess of 160 plus. It's tough to say. I think The hardest times to bat here are probably first thing in the morning and at the very end of the afternoon. I understand why teams are wanting to win the toss and bat in the afternoon. Head scratching, but winning the toss and electing to bat in the morning so far has felt like the wrong decision. But that's just again us in the high school commentary box, you know, keeping an eye on things. Here's Sakurano Thomas. Outside edge wide of the gully. There's a man out there at deep third. Still, of course, 2 overs remaining in the power play. Man at square leg. Might have been in the game with 2 catches, Victoria. Not quite on the rope. Man at deep third. He's got his heels basically on it. Brief flotation with the national team toured on that 2023 visit to Papua New Guinea.
I think Sakurano Thomas is going to retire from bowling this over. Looks like he's done something to his leg, just a quick interlude with the umpire and Paisley. And he will be replaced.
Well, that is the last thing that North Hunter would have wanted or needed at this stage of the tournament. Hasn't been a campaign of joy, particularly. You see subfielder come on. He looks like he's at mid-on and they've just moved things around. Meanwhile, a forced shuffle in the bowling ranks as well. Looks like it's going to be Luke and I Bates. Mediums. James Basie would probably think try and run the ship, albeit with a little bit of help from a couple of the guys in the setup. That's what happens when you lose not only one of your key players, but then you're supposed to lead the team out there. Medium pacer is dealt with first up by Navaratna. He's enjoying the cover gaps at present. Oh, down the leg side, he mistimed that. I just noticed a bit of a curiosity in the last over. It was actually a 5-ball over.
Fine.
It's wide.
Paisley perhaps taking over the captaincy, do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm trying to look. I think from what I saw, I did see a couple of hand gestures from him a couple of moments ago. It'd be interesting to see. Remains true, well struck through in between the 2-point fielders. There's not a big gap between them, only maybe 5 or so metres. But Benjamin Ito-Davis managed to split the two of them.
Audrey Hargrave Arbor with the gloves on. Just cover around a bit.
Another full toss. Ito-Davis thought he got a little bit more of it than he did. In the end, it's enough for 6 still. He started running thinking that it might plug inside the rope. It didn't.
Yeah. It's just an insult to injury, isn't it? Follow replacement. Benjaminito Davis another up now, taking advantage of this. Really a big over. 2 balls remaining. And Bates come back.
Good Yorker. It's a tough initiation that for Anai Bates after Sakurana Thomas was supposed to bowl out the over, bowled 1 ball and limped off the ground. 39 for 3, 1 over left in the power play. Did he carry anything into this tournament of note?
Not aware of.
But the best source of knowledge, surely, here next to me.
He hardly says a word to me these days, but yeah, not aware of any who's been injury. It looks definitely Baisley's controlling the strip out there now that Sakurana Thomas is off the field. Chandamark back for his 3rd over.
Between Hargrave, Arbe and Baisley running the show now. It's a tough one to put your marquee player in. You normally just want to focus on playing, not necessarily leading the team.
And leading a team that you probably know very little about.
Yeah.
It's the difficult task, but I'm sure Cold G gloves on will be helping out.
Chandamark, meanwhile, bowled his 3rd straight in the power play. He's done a fine job so far, 1 for 12 off his 2 overs. And get that score updated for you on the screen. He's looking to work that into square leg, but instead finds the mid-wicket fielder. Go through for 1, tight offside field, but struck it hard to Baisley's left, who couldn't hold on.
Yeah, long way down for him. Just cut off the single.
He's lifted that well. Good piece of batting, not necessarily the best piece of timing though. They'll get 2 still. He's trying to do almost just riding with the spin away from him. Put the chance away there. Navaratne will be disgusted with himself. You can see him on his haunches there. He knows he's given 1 back there to the Lions. Give himself a little bit of time to reflect. Struck on the pad but missing off stump. He's, if anything, gone too far across.
Yeah, he did. Went a long way, didn't he, to try and open up the leg side. Target behind square, a lot of territory unmanned out there.
Power play bowled, 43 for 3. It's a little comeback of sorts for East Consort, after losing the 3 quick ones. It's 3 in the first 3.2 overs, and they were one stage 3, 4. Sorry to use the I'm using the Australian scoring terminology there. I need to reverse that. .18 for 3, of course, in the 4th over. Another change. Tarajan in with his leg spin. Already playing miss. Talk of a little tickle there. Not too sure if is the case. Fifth bowl used, of course, of that Renato Thomas only with the one ball bowled. Behind backward point. Two fielders close together chasing. Come back for a second. Man of Natarajan is featured in over 130 matches in Japanese cricket. Missed time, but into a gap, and he might have still cleared the rope. No, it's well inside. Leading run 2. I don't know, Davis, he seems to miss time on, and it still floats and sails over the rope. It's to be that time. Inside out. It's a good shot. There is a man out there though. Should keep it to 1.
Yeah, lovely pickup out there, wasn't the outfield?
Good fun, mere pocket rocket to the outfield there.
Totally attacked the ball. Lovely pickup with one hand. Good return.
And left alone by Navaratna.
Paisley continuing to just move, make sure his fielders are in the correct positions. Just drop him on out to the boundary rope.
Hurries up Navaratna there. Racing through these overs with spin. 7 gone, 48 for 3. For Leo's sake, Garth doesn't, whatever he's impeded by, doesn't affect his snowboarding.
I thought you were going to say the international series coming up.
Well,
that's snowboarding.
That too.
It's hard to know really what he did. I want to say it was initially when he was talking to the umpire, it was something around ankle or lower calf perhaps, but I'm sure we'll find out in due process.
The man who's been a magnet in the field turn to his bowling efforts today. Kulasuriya with his off spin. Another international series around the corner, a tri-series with the Cook Islands and Thailand. Cooks, I believe, come into the country sometime today. Man coming around from point. Good little match up that. Thailand, of course, here as well, but between the Cook Islands and Japan, having watched both of them closely, put Japan, and especially at home, as sort of slight favourites to take out the series, but the Cooks do boast 3 or 4 players of immense quality that can take the game away from any opposition. Bowled him. Kulasuriya's day in the field goes from strength to strength. A couple of catches and now a wicket to his name. Just fires one past Navaratna. And the defending champions are 4 down inside 50.
Yeah, that international series will be an interesting one. All 3 teams ranked within 10 places with each other. Japan the highest at 45th in the world. Following them, Cook Islands 52 and Thailand at 55. It should make for an interesting series, starting on the 7th of May here at Sano. I believe it's a double round robin before a final. And then, following that, the Cook Islands will stay on for a few extra days. And the bilateral series of Japan. Busy months of cricket. Japan is through April, May and June. It's almost the summer, of course, being July, August here in Japan, but it's incredibly hot, especially here in Sano. It reaches the highest temperatures across the country, above sort of your late 30s. It's the humidity that's added to the component that just makes it sweltering conditions and by no means comfortable in the middle. Often games are cancelled when it reaches above 37 degrees due to heat management and player welfare. We try to have the shorter format during those months, the T20 series. Casey's still fiddling with his field.
Takahashi, the new batter, beginning his day with a single out to the leg side. And it's a family affair in Cook Islands cricket as well. Two Dixon brothers, two Parima brothers, close to the top of the order, will play a big part in the campaign. Again, happy to try and keep Ito Davis on the back foot.
Daniel, would you know the Cook Islands team? Are they mostly based in the Cook Islands, or are there players in New Zealand and Australia?
So, cover them across two cycles now, the Cooks, and the last ball here, Ito Davis slicing well behind point and should pick up multiple runs here and do so. End of the 8th over, 52 for 4th. So the first cycle that they returned back into T20 World Cup qualifying, they had a 15-player group that was roughly half-half. I think it was 8 New Zealand-based, 7 Cooks-based, and then the second time around, I think the split was 11 New Zealand-based, 4 Cook Islands-based. So roughly the same split. I think they're missing, from memory, one of the, I think it's Andrew Samuels, who's playing actually rugby in Japan, who's missing out on the tri-series, and from memory he's actually one of the stronger Cooks-based players. I'll through that squad in a moment once I can find it in my notes here. Takahashi out to cover. So a couple of new names in the group touring. Campbell Thorpe, Pani Vailoa and James Pickering into the group. I haven't had a chance to see much of them, but must have the squad in bulk the same, led by Mara Abe. Central Stags, contracted player at some point. I'm not sure if he's on the books there at the moment. So left alone, Hatarajan happy to try and fire through, and the two Dixon brothers, Hayden and Corey, play a big part. Liam Denny is a good player to watch, and then the Parimas, Arway and Thomas Parima. So we worked into cover. And they just won it. Saw Thomas Parima hit one of the biggest sixes I've ever seen at the VCG in Port Vila, the Vanuatu Cricket Ground, into the banana plantation. And to give you kind of an equivalent, it was basically over those trees and onto the road, Garth. I know hard for those viewing don't quite get a glimpse of that. I'll try and explain it better to you in a moment. basically hit into that direction. So if you can see the fielder here pick this ball up in front of those nets, a little bit wider towards the trees over mid-wicket, would have probably landed the equivalent on the road and then into the garden next door. It was a gigantic hit. And the sound off his bat, and we were right on the boundary, and just the sound that came off. Spooned a little bit by Edo Davis, and running around is a great piece of fielding to complete the catch, and he lets you know about it too with the finger raised. Edo Davis tried to hit this one straight at the two fielders, and the man running around
could have been
waiting. Might double check who that was out there. It's about 250 metres away from us here in the box.
Wonderful catch. 10, 15 metres to his left. Took it diving.
Zabipe Dewan out there, number 12.
Yeah. Brilliant catch.
He's the sub fielder, I believe. Yeah.
Right.
So.
And a big wicket. I was just thinking, watching Benjamin Ito and Ibrahim Takahashi take the game away yesterday afternoon. Their amazing partnership. Just can't tell. Would be glad to see the back of one of them. And yeah, caught substitute. Iran.
That's what you call leaving an impact on the game, even when you're not picked in the 11. Oh, and it's gone through Shoma Slater. A new batter for the Sunrisers. It won't go to the fence. Cash running around. Gamire buys signal. So Shoma Slater survives the first ball. East Kanto in the campaign at this point, almost on life support now. The defending champions, 57 for 5, 9 overs gone. I'm just noticing the Chargers who enjoy the bye this afternoon, just having a light hit in the nets. Done the job. Done everything that's been asked of them so far, and even speaking to a couple of players who have looked around and saw each other in the group and thought, look, they're probably not the favourites to win the tournament, but we're going to give it a red hot go. And to be fair, they've ticked every box. Here's Surya. Takahashi now holds the key for the Sunrisers. Part of that unbeaten 99 run standard. Decent rate against, with Benjamin Mitchell-Davis, I should say. Game against West Kanto Hurricanes in the morning of match day 1. Look at the lead alone. Runs completely stemmed now with that Ethel Davis wicket. So much pressure on Takahashi's shoulders, and now Shoma Slater as well. And Slater, who has a chance to swipe into the leg side to get off the mark. Fires against Love, who was batting a moment or so ago.
Just in the 10th over still. The team back in the shed.
Big shout. The bowler liked it. Almost ran off in celebration. In the end, it's been turned down. Takahashi survives again. Great battle between ball and bat here. Takahashi fighting and digging in for his team. Kulasuri with his tail up, enjoying a fine day so far. 59 for 5 at the halfway mark. And is this where we play the prediction game? It's tough with this situation if you're an East Council Sunrisers fan.
The projected score is around 118.
Bowled, in fact stumped I should say. Shoma Slater completely undone by Natarajan. Didn't even bother trying to get back into his ground here.
Just kind of wrong decision there. 10 overs in hand.
Yeah, not quite the shot that. Maybe thinking that if Takahashi's going to play the anchoring role, he's the one that has to go. And in the end, it just leaves him in an even deeper hole.
Nice work from Koji Hargrave Arbab, the gloves on. Pretty easy, just really hit the Slater never really looked back, did he? Missing out,
no.
Connecting.
Just past the field at Thurgate for 4. Much needed boundary. Good man to have in this situation, in fairness. Came towards the bell. He is a prolific run scorer at this level. Again, we talk about deep batting lineups, Super Kings and Sunrisers here. There probably might have been one there, but the pressure that's been put on this batting lineup, they cannot afford to lose another wicket. Against the bowler. Doesn't beat the mid-off fielder Thurgate, who took a shot at some sort of collision at the... That was then there, accidental of course.
Yeah, Kintot Dobal used to do some work here for the JCA. He's groundsman. He's moved on from that role though. I believe he's working in Saitama Prefecture next to Tochigi, big city.
The foot of Tokyo there as well, just a little bit to the northwest. Go through there on the train home. Should be talk of 2. They'll take him on. We'll run in the end.
Saitama, the home of the, I think the current champions. They've won about 6 titles under Robbie Deans in the rugby. Domestic League 1. Some Wild Knights, those known. Robbie Deans once played out here. There's part of the Embassy Cup for the Anzacs.
Yep.
Big festival Japan Cricket puts on. Invites all the embassies to put forward their best 11. The current champions of the Indian Embassy, perhaps beating Japan in the final. Usually held towards the end of the season here in October. Yeah, from all means, Robbie could hold a bat. A couple of big sixes according to Alan Kerr.
Fits the narrative of Kiwis being multifaceted in their sport as well. Down the track. On occasion, altered the bell, but straight back to the bowler. A lot of stories of dual sport athletes in New Zealand still. Sweden putting there for Syria. They might have even just trolling his shoelaces, perhaps. They play inside time at the World Cup stadium that was put up there. The World Cup, I'd say it was the same ground. Little chip over the top. Just one of the connecting trains down the top 3 or so days ago, and it was a packed train. I thought I'd been on packed trains before, with people being literally pushed into the carriages.
Yeah.
Any sense of personal space didn't exist. Well swept, but there is a man out there. He's mistimed it, and Ash Thurgate being a safe pair of hands for that man during the tournament, and he's delivered again. Just noticing James Bazley running off the ground. Maybe a little nature break of some description.
So, yeah, in that direction.
Hollered the umpires to let him know what he's doing.
Well, another big wicket in the form of Ubi Takahashi has to depart. As Kanto continuing to apply pressure, taking wickets at regular intervals. 7 down now. This Kanto just been a bit guilty of putting the partnership together. The solitary partnership of 31. Of any note for the team?
Shima Fujiaka Fletcher in now for Sunrisers. Joins Kemper with the bell. Backward cut, beating backward point. Run a second. Kulasuria again, up and about and appealing. Naked eye, it looked like it wasn't going to trouble or make the decision too difficult for the umpire. Just noticed a couple of clouds come over. Here the sign of the wind's picked up a tad as well. Keep you updated on all of that. Sweep off the side of the body. Shima.
Yeah, Shima was out here for the Futures League, wasn't he? Probably 4 weeks earlier, holding a Future Leagues tournament. All the teams involved and all of the players under the age of 23.
Tarajan again. So Daisy's put himself out in the hot corner. Six bowlers used by the Lions, of course, who had to adjust after that injury to Sakurana Thomas. Hopefully everything okay there. Falling No. Struck on the toe, and Burrs raises the finger. It's hit on the full. Always makes it difficult for the batter there in a hole, and the Tarajan strikes. Take a look at the replay here. Just trapped him a little bit. Hit on the full on his toe. A little protest there, but it's always tough when you get hit on the full like that. Deeming the ball to go straight on in the path that it's taken, and well, you leave the umpire no choice but to give you out.
Well, Spin doing the job here. Rip through this middle order. Nathan Jam, Kalshan, Kolasuria. Between them, taking 5 wickets. So it'd be 6 wickets. I just confirmed that. This with the addition of Chandama, 6 wickets between the 3 spinners. Iskanto and all sorts, 70 for 8 in the 13th over.
Zubai Khan, the new batter for the Sunrisers. Oh, there's a slight mix-up. In the end, the throw is neither at the bowler or keeper's end. In the end, it's backing up fielder there at mid-wicket, cleaning up. Caught himself in 2 minds there, unfortunately. Now at first slip. Before that wicket. Gust has gone up here in Sarnock. Time for me to put my jacket on.
Yeah, you might be able to see it on camera. A couple of advertising signs have fallen over. Brilliant spell from Nathan Jan. 3 for 16 off his allotted 4 overs. Soria to continue from the school end here.
Chance for him to bowl out as well. Figures of 2 for 9. 3 figures. It's out of the question here as well for the Sunrisers, unless DeBell can lift his game. Meanwhile, at the other end, Zubair Khan chips into the offside. It's a good shot over the bowler's head. Man running around will. Oh man, it's only one. Zubair Khan a little bit slow out of the blocks there. It's probably 1-2. The lines on that occasion. And miss. Sometimes the cricket gods go against you like that when you don't pick up the one that probably should have been there, and then a wicket or a dot at the other end. And the plain miss. The right arm off spin across the face of the right-hander. Either one to turn back in or one to angle across. Shuffling the field here from Adrian, moving the man back to deep point. It goes this time. The man's running in. It's Thurgate again. Oh, it was a bit of a mix-up in the field and a drop chance. A little bit of indecisiveness between think it's Gulfran out there. No, it's double check. Yeah, Gulfran and Ash Thurgate.
Perhaps could have been Thurgate's
Yeah, it
catch.
looked like Thurgate's, didn't it?
There's here.
Big shout this time. And again, every single time he's tried to hoodwink the umpire, who has remained unmoved at that end.
Yeah, the earlier ball, Thurgate, the ball in front of him had to come in probably 4, 5, 6 metres. The other player, Murr, who actually went for the catch, moving to his left, it's a bit more difficult. Change of bowler from the mountain end here. 6 overs remaining. You've got to be smart about this to Zabir Khan and Kintoto go about. He's going out in the next couple of overs being caught. They want to maximise every run available. Bat the allotted 20. I just have to put away some of the more riskier shots.
Well struck. And that will run away. A much needed boundary. Kentor to the bell, beat Baisley to his right, and it was too tough for the outfielder running around. That's up with a forward defence. Chanama bowling out. Surya finished 2 for 13 at the other end. And trying to beat Baisley, who gets down and protects that time. Spin is tied down. Sunrisers in this sort of second stage of the innings after the power play bowlers did their job, also partly through spin as well. And with Baisley picking up 2 in the short ball as well, I'm sure he'll come back. Big shout from the bowler, but the ball is so far down, it's almost impossible. And there'll be a decision to be deemed. Oh, mix up. Gets back eventually. Ball of note was quick enough from Zubair. Felt disappointed he couldn't work a single there to retain the strike. He does remain at the crease. Chanamar finishes his spell, 1 for 19 off 4. East Hunter, 79 for 8. Final 5 overs, and again, 3 figures probably the goal now. It's out. There is hope. At least with this pair, that they could churn out a couple of runs.
Yeah, just the update on Sakana Thomas leaving the field. A bit of a strained hamstring. Been assessed by the doctor already. But, just resting out the rest of the match. So James Baisley is taking lead of the team.
You're not going to get the man closer to the source of the news than Garth Thomas next to me. This cued into the leg side in front, the new bowler.
Big 6 on ground 2. Carries over to ground 1 here. I'll give you an update at the end of the over on that match on ground 2. West Kanto taking on South Kanto. important in terms of permutations for the final table. 2 in a row, another big 6 on ground 2, into the jungle. Could be a lost ball, that one. Back here on ground 1. Batsman not quite ready.
Well, he wanted to charge down. In the end, he reshuffled. He's given up running because it's gone over Thurgate's head for 4. Good adjustment from off the belt. I think Ash Thurgate might have just misread that a little bit. He might have hit 3 consecutive sixes over the ground. Good survive the single. Strike for the last ball. He's really happy as well to add 1 to the total. So he will retain the strike. 87 for 8. 4 overs remain.
So the Kansai Chargers squad are on the nets practicing. For the final round robin match tomorrow, and then depending on the outcome of these 2 games, perhaps an afternoon final. Following our final round tomorrow morning, there is the final on ground number 1. Ground number 2 will feature 3rd versus 4th. Easily warming up again, back into the attack. There's 2 overs remaining.
So his tactics to alter the bell, we saw him take those 2 wickets, digging in short, sending the 45 back onto the rope. 2 out on the leg side. 2 out on the offside, so Dick Short just having a little look at the field. Bell late cut to that deep 3rd. MO for Basie would be to not obviously can't bounce every ball per the regulations, but
I'm keen to see this because if he does bigger and short, I reckon Khan's going to go after him.
We see a top edge carrying for 6 in our direction as well. We'll see on that occasion. We've top adjusted that end where Basie banging in that big delivery stride.
Severe Khan plays locally in the 1st division for Sano, but he also plays in the Japan Cup for a Saitama team. I just wonder if Kinko Kabao will join him in future.
Swatted right of the cover fielder and beating the man chasing to the rope for 4.
Severe Khan doesn't mind a short ball himself with placement. Nothing ball short of the length for Severe Khan.
right, Garth Thomas. He went, saw it, unable to execute the one bouncer for the over, by the umpires.
Good little fight back from these two though, isn't it? Put on 22 since coming together. You can just push that score up to 110, 120, who knows, they'll be able to defend that.
Assertive, I think, is the word to describe that call of no from Zafar Khan. You're right, I think too that we're coming into the second day of play of the tournament. Into the surface, it's seen a lot of action over the last 10 days or so. 10 might not look on paper as an imposing score, but probably asks a question or two at least of the opposition. Inside edge, the man down there on the fine leg boundary.
Just 3 overs remain here on ground number 1, Sun International Cricket Ground. Iskanto Sunrise is currently sitting at 93 for 8. These two being sourced with the responsibility to finish the innings. Quick 8 update on from ground 2. Iskanto Hurricanes batting in a very similar position, 94 for 8. And with 2 overs remaining. Drake pursue their name.
On the sweep, on this occasion is a guy for 1. See plenty of energy from the Sunrisers in the field this afternoon. Not sure the bowling options either. Go straight back to the bowler. Man running in, holds on. I just noticed today quite a few of the skyward shots have not carried over the rope as they have on the previous day, even with the full toss. This one straight down the throat of the man at long on. Not sure what it is, maybe the colder air inside on the ball not carrying as far, maybe the deck's being a bit slow enough that it affected the full toss on that occasion. We thought that would be a little mini fight back of sorts. The Sunrisers, they lose their 9th wicket. Before it brings out Abdullah Sajid at number 11, halfway through the 18th over. Criminal not spat out your overs at this point now.
Both grounds seemingly low scores, doing the damage on ground 2. It's the spin twins of Charlie Hutto Hins and Sabari Ravi Chandran both bowling out with 4 over spowers for 2 for 10.
Plenty of flight and full toss not giving to a gap. Moving back the mid-off fielder onto the rope. Eight and over's gone. This comes up 94 for 9. Two overs to conjure up something with the bat. One of them, though, will be bowled by Australia's marquee man, James Bazley.
Deep mid wicket and deep square. Third man and a deep extra cover. And finally a long on protection for Bazley on the boundary.
Bowled. Innings over. Bazley attacking the stumps. Via all at sea. And North Conto Lions, in spite of losing their skipper, toil away and bowl out the defending champions in 18.1 overs here at the Sano International Cricket Ground. Never really got the chance to form a partnership of note. And the momentum struggled, failing to really move into the innings in any sort of rhythm.
Yeah, Bazley bowled well, it only took two at the top and came off to finish off the tail order. In between, it was the spin threesome, Chandamat, Narajan and Kula Surya. Bowling out East Kanto Sunrisers, 94 for 10, 11 balls remaining, so the best performance from them. A desperate one from North Kanto, having lost their captain earlier on. Good fight back, and in about 18 minutes time they'll come out to try and chase that down for their first victory in the JPL, because that'll hurt East Kanto Sunrisers' chances of making the final.
Benjamin Ithel-Davis again, top scored with 21, 19 balls, Neville Rutner and Hunter Bell. Zubai Khan making double figures, and the bowling, as you said, James Bays at the top. Bounced out 2, ended up with 3, and Tarajan picking up 3 wickets as well. Finish 94 all out. We'll be back in a few moments' time for the second innings as both these teams fight desperately for victory in the afternoon session. We'll be back in a few moments. Carl Thomas and myself, Daniel Bezel, here on behalf of the JCA at the JPL 2025. Almost all set to go here in Sano, the second innings. The JPL afternoon session on field number 1. These Kanto Sunrisers out in the field and eager to try and fight tooth and nail to defend 94 on the number 1 ground. North Kanto, meanwhile, done half the job in completing their first victory. I do know that there's still a little bit of work to do. That down a batter as well. An injury to Reo Sakurano Thomas in the first innings.
Yeah, I believe he's gone off to hospital actually to have a further check. See if we could hear a bit of a rip or a tear. But looks to be severe can't. Sort of afraid to bang it in short of severe. And Kanto in search of their first victory.
Into the pads, no run. One slip in place, looking for that one to potentially angle across the right-hander. Hope for some life in this new ball. Eishi Ayukai opening the batting alongside Gufran Mir. And that's not the start East Kanto would have wanted. 5 wides, essentially bringing the target down from 95 to 90. The replay, a little bit of movement, well actually quite a lot of movement. It's not controlled by the left armour into the right hander. Wind also, just looking, it is swirling around but seems to be in favour of that swing back into the right hander as well. Big shout, but going down the leg side again, probably in a similar vein to the previous ball.
The left arm coming over the wickets, the right hander. As you say, the ball before, bit of swing there for Zabir Khan if he gets his line right. Some difficulty for the batsman.
That's the line and the angle across the right hander on that occasion. No issues with the pace of Zabir Khan, is there? He does push them through. Struck hard, but Kendall Karawaki Fleming at cover keeps it to the top. Still just 23 years of age. Been on the sort of domestic circuit over the last 3 years or so. Took 6 wickets in an economy of under a run a ball in the tournament last year as well as Zabir Khan. 2 holds to bat, alright as well. He's got a JCL T20 to his name too. In between the field is just the one. You need those almost half lives and half moments going your way if you're the fielding side here defending a low total. The JCL T20 took 8 wickets in 5 games, and then at the JPL was good as well.
Yeah, those near chances, it's almost what we saw yesterday afternoon, wasn't it? North Kanto creating close chances, 4 or 5 of them against South Kanto, and they've been paying off.
Oh, another inside edge. His man out at deep backward square leg protecting.
Bufan there, he's at Chiba Sharks. Had a fair number of matches in Japan, but not so for Kashi Ayukai. Just the 6 matches domestically.
7 for no loss in the first over. Belt taking the ball the other end. Fond memories, I'm sure, his time in South Africa in 2020 when he was the 19 World Cup member in that campaign. Oh, mix up. Oh dear. And then a fall from the fielder running in the end. The golden chance for an early wicket for the Sunrisers has been botched.
Well, we see a replay of that mix up.
We've been treated to some great cricket over the best part of 2 days. That unfortunately won't make the highlight reel of the tournament, you've got to say. It won't make Andre's final cut in the edit either, I suspect. Wicket falling on the other ground as West Kanto Hurricanes make an early breakthrough against the South Africa Super Kings, who knocking down a smallish target as well on field number 2. Another swing and a miss. Maybe just trying to hit that ball too hard. You need to reinvent the wheel here, Garth, do you?
No. Yeah, you were mentioning those fond memories of Kento Dobell in the World Cup 220. Because he was young then. I think he was at the time only 16, 17. Because he still qualifies for the Futures League in Japan here, 23s.
Yeah, you're right. 22 in January this year.
Oh, so.
That's clever. Gulfran, who just stayed still and eased it into the offside. What's his name?
Yeah, well, there's a lovely little highlights reel of Gulfran playing for his local club, Chiba Sharks, as does Alta Dobell. So a bit of a match-up here, fellow teammates, Chiba Sharks.
So beat Zubai Khan. There should be talk of a third here. And they do jet off. Good running.
Yeah, Ayukai coming back to the danger and did well, didn't he? I'm sure he got 3 out of that.
Was born in Japan but grew up in Victoria, Ballarat. Convinced his parents to fly to Japan for the academy trials in 2019, and so he kind of reached out and made contact and played well in that EAP qualifier here in Sano that ultimately qualified from Sajid. On the right side, the wide signal. Another wicket over for the West Country Hurricanes on field number 2. And not for 41. It's Vanuatu who helped in that campaign. This one not loved by another right now. Signal for a mile. Not to have on the way through, not to be. Just being informed there was a second knock in the North Country camp to discuss as well. Being informed that Luke and I Bates will also knock back for North Country, so they're essentially down to 9. That's another little element, and you could, not quite, you could almost say that they're effectively 2 down.
Simply does.
Good Yorker. Got out in the end, in fact. Achieved with his unconventional bowling action. You see bowlers like this around in the circuit.
Quick arm action, isn't it? Rotation around, walking through.
Those in the older demographics will remember or have seen pictures of Mike Proctor there, kind of in a similar way bowled in that regard. Tricky custom, not too different. Mix up again. A hard call of no from the front. It's quick enough.
Just a thumbs up from a UK care sheet. That must be stationed overseas, is it? The only matches I found them playing domestically was the JPL. Also inter-squad matches Japan Red versus Japan Blue. Squeezes this out and again turned down for a single from his partner. Good call.
Yeah, Grizzy. He's into his motor racing as well.
Brilliant.
H onto his pads. Professional race car driver. So, a bit going on in the life of Keiichi Aokai. $15 for no loss. 16, of course, with that single at the end. Third over.
Yeah, they're above the required run rate. Just 4.65, so That's not the problem, but as my co-commentator mentioned, 2 players out in terms of the batting lineup for the North Cantal. Which is back in the action. Yeah, I believe Clinton might have a teaching job lined up in Saitama. I'm keen to talk to him about it actually, being a fellow teacher myself in Japan. There's a lot of foreigners do in this country. It's a good ball.
Sturgate as well. English teacher, I believe.
Yeah.
On the up. A little bit of help from the synthetic strip too. Well timed into cover for 4. Nishioka racing now, not quite from a strike rate point of view, but that one racing towards the rope for 4.
Yes, skipped off the artificial turf, didn't it? Just flew across the boundary rope. And moves to 6.
Big shout. Might have struck him on the back pad. He's been turned down.
Chris Thurgate standing that umpire, that in. Japan cricket. Both Ashton and Marcus been cut around on the Team World Cup squad. The Pioneers.
Or beats Zubair with the 2. Wrong foot, Zubair again.
Yeah. The ball's been following Zubair Khan, isn't it? Saw a good Instagram post of his just as we end the over. 22 without loss after 4. Yeah, on his Instagram post the other week I saw Zubair Khan often puts his training methods on screen, and this one he went down to the local baseball cage. And rather than standing over the plate, he was out probably 3 metres from the plate or the crease, and he was just taking the baseball on the full, just driving it over the bowler's head. And then he moved forward again and was practicing the pull shot. Never seen it done before, but makes total sense. So kind of, yeah, I said to him, brilliant ideas there. I don't know what the owner of the baseball cage thought.
Not out of the middle of the bat, but this one survives. Just the one. I believe is Shoma Slater. 77. Perth boy, Melville in Perth, a strong club out in that part of the world. Swing and a miss, and there's some high hopes of trying to actually around the group. It's getting another fast bowler into the mix for Japan.
Yeah, most definitely. We were talking yesterday about the trip later in the year for the Japan national squad over to Oman. What sort of wickets, how they will play.
Good catch. It's a tricky one for mid-wicket, running to his right and over his shoulder. Does an immense job, Mitchell Jamieson, Shoma Slater's pace just undoing Play a tad here.
Yes, good catch, wasn't it? He didn't have to lose his feet, but he just made it look quite simple, moving to his right and taking around shoulder height. What the great players do, they make things look simple. Has to depart. 8 runs off his 19 balls. Just over 5 at the moment, but chasing a low score, 95 for victory.
Look at Sean Slater. His campaign's not far away from celebrating his 19th birthday, May 8th. Now the 4th,
so in that case, unavailable for under 19 World Cup hopes, right? Yep.
Key man in now at number 3, Baisley. On the leg side. Slater puts his head in his hands. He knows he tried to dig in short, and in the end, it's costing his line 5 wide to the total.
That's good, wasn't it? Just a line.
We tucked him up a little bit there, James Baisley. Similar vein to Jack Wood's innings for the Chargers here this morning. Looking to go about a low target chase. You know he's got time on his side. The man from the side hasn't won yet. Desperate to taste some success.
Yeah, and possibly a chance for a 3rd, 4th playoff game. If they manage to get up here. Of course, their first game from North Council was abandoned. They will take on Council Chargers. Top of the table, and there's a squad over there watching the games.
It looks like it, yeah. Through for what I believe will be a leg bite. 29 for 1, 5 overs gone.
The Kansai Chargers are in the 10s with an eye on both games, I guess, but perhaps focusing a bit more on ground 2, taking on their opposition tomorrow, the West Kansai Hurricanes. It's a good thing about Sunday, you can watch both games quite easily.
The downside of that is if you're in that 10th over on the road, you've got to watch out. The ball's being struck in your direction on both sides. Nothing for me, I've got 4 eyes up. Both at the time, but you just have to hush and looks like he'll be deployed now inside the power play. And the cut off Fleming, knowing that his hand's been forced a little earlier than he would have liked. You'll know though that there's 2 North Council batters that were unable to bat a little bit later on, so a little breakthrough here at least asked a couple of questions, and you would suspect that spin this afternoon will play a big role. Had a lot of traffic on this surface over the last 2 days, guys.
You think they'll be on this wicket tomorrow? Or they change over to...
So, sort of hearing a few whispers around lunchtime suggesting that they might be prepping one of the other ones for tomorrow. They also could have been talking about field number 2 though, so I don't know how reliable my information is. Baisley middles this one to mid off, and jet off pretty easy. That man mid off is right on the circle, knowing how hard Baisley can hit, and probably has to give him one. Good front and strike, and this is the ultimate height difference between batters. You need to get a photo of these two in the middle. It's well played. Cricket is a game for all, as Gufran's just shown with this one. Come back for a second. I remember there's a similar photo in a South African test match where Temba Bavuma was punching gloves with Marco Janssen, who stands at about 7 feet tall. Temba Bavuma is probably about 5'1". You'd say that this age, this height disparity is of a similar nature, if not more drastic. Gufran can't be any taller than about 5'0". And he proves again, quite frankly, it doesn't matter your physique. If you can play good cricket shots like that, picks up another 2. Camera in the perspective not doing good fun any favours either. Baisley at the non-striker's end looks even taller and more imposing than he is. Manipulated the field just over rather well. Good front.
Yeah, like a lot of shorter batsman, picks up the line well and early. It's a brilliant highlights reel. If you want to check them out on Sugar Sharks, it's on the Facebook page, could be Instagram. But he's just standing and delivering that day. It was a 40 over match with Sugar Sharks. Benjamin Ethel Davis was on the highlights reel as well. Sugar Sharks unbeaten in the domestic Division 1 40 over league currently.
Full toss to begin Jamison's day with the ball. A bit more for his batting here at the tournament, but able to roll out these leggies as well. Baisley in the cap meanwhile, almost beaten in the air there by fellow Marquis. To the man at long, off for 1. Play done, of course, now, so the field can be spread.
Brown looking to go over the cover.
On the up. Smart batting just to move the single out to deep cover. As he finishes, he's set well, completes the over with a dot, throws to the keeper to kill the ball.
He didn't have a bowl on number 1 yesterday, did he? No. So nice to see him roll the arm over.
$36 for 1. Looking at South Council 33 for 2 off 5. This one's a good, actually quite a good job to get to 108 after the position they were in at one point. Gouffran around the corner. Just be 2 with a good chase in the outfield there. At this stage, 14 for 3 on the other field, and now 44 for 4, 52 for 5, and 70 for 6, and it's still got to 108. Good shot, inside out over cover. Gouffran doesn't bother running, and for good reason.
Yeah, another Chiba Sharks teammate, and it was a cracking action. Almost over the covers there, good shot from Gouffran.
Knowing full well he's done everything he needs to in this over. Could pat a few more balls back to the bowler. Wicket falling over on the other ground. Well guided again into the offside. They'll be talking to Gouffran, happy to hit to 1 despite the fumble from Nicholas Davis. Might have been Fox and Gouffran at the non-strikers then attempting to come back.
I don't think I've seen such a height difference as perhaps back in junior cricket.
Yeah.
Sort of the team living stuff.
These times, Razor survives. In fact, there's a touch shot. It might be talk of 2. It's a sort of deeper pocket out there. Good running from Gouffran. End of the over. 46 for 1.
Yeah, building a great foundation. These still aren't they? Guide their team to success. It's just their first win for the North Council Lions. To register a win. Have 1 point from a bad match, round 1. At the moment things are in control for North Council then.
Almost halfway there in terms of runs needed. 49 to win. Jamison in again through second. On the edge again. Easily actually turned back by Gouffran on that occasion. When the maturity comes in for both these players now, Jamison bowling into Baisley. Jamison has to essentially try and throw every single punch that he's got in Baisley's direction, and Baisley has the freedom of just being able to bunt one down the ground. No run rate concerns of note, of course. A moment there, might have had his heart in his mouth.
We're good to see Benton and Nico Davis have a bowl, haven't we?
Need to. That's taken a little outside edge past Navaratna. Comes back. I don't know if the photographer is still on hand at the ground, but if they can get a mid-over or an over conference between these two, I'd buy that. I'd buy that photo. Just off the keeps bobbing onto the stumps. Got ball. Oh, Basic takes on.
Yeah.
Man, it's a risky single. Not needed in this situation either.
Tell you what, though, was only 6 or 7 feet. I wonder if he might have even been home. He set off early, pulled his partner through. Direct hit would have had him short.
Not a whole lot of chatting between them in between overs. Fist pumping back in. Keep an eye out after making the point. Well, looks like we've got our wish here with Beatles Davis coming on. Take off again. Lucky Fleming shying at the bowler's end. Hasn't quite gone the way of the defending champions this competition so far. He's cleared the man. Yes, he has. Plenty of power in that one from Baisley.
And a couple of barks from Ash Thurgate to show his pleasure and applause from the rest of his teammates.
He wanted to go second time. Leg side, they should come back for a second. Rate just over 4s now. The leg side, Baisley happy to pick up another one. He knows 6 just takes the sting out of this over. Between 3 fielders on this occasion from Wolfgrant. Another wicket falling in favour of West Carlton Hurricanes on field 2.
There'll be 4 down now. 9 on the board, but final ball here from Nico Davis.
Going along and tracking along nicely are the North Conto Lions. One for 1, halfway mark of the innings. Would you have the Fletcher on? Sorry, guys.
You're right. I'm just waiting for the update from the scorers on ground 2. I believe South Conto Super Kings are 39 for 4 in the chase of 109 for victory. It's just the 7th over. 40 for 4. There we go. Back on ground 1. And he just plays it. Soft hands down to Zabir Khan. Nice return throw. Just going through the motions, this big accident. I didn't see what happened to Luke and I Bates, but
no.
2 injuries in the team. We'll see them not batting. Or you never know. Might work out with a moon bit or something. But we just needed the 8 wickets East Gunter, but 10 overs remaining, 33 runs needed.
Keep things ticking along. We talk about the abilities of these hunting husbands. Maturity at times is more important. Just to be around the group and sense of lead the team, having decided what's on top of the field, and then Ray's just been able to go about this chase, approach it in a pretty calm fashion, it must be said. He's let Gulfan sort of do his thing on the other end. Take another easy single. You just don't have the runs to play with, and pretty soon Kendall will be forced to bring the extra man in the infield.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll go back to
the wide signals down the outside.
I wonder if they'll go back to Zabir Khan or Alter Dovalda and steer another wicket. Mitchell Janison, of course. Shuffle. Sanjeev, just the one over.
Slow ball. Gulfan waited on it, and in the end, pretty simple cut shot out to deep point. Trying and asking questions. These comfort sunrises, but unfortunately are bereft of answers. 67 for 1. 11 overs gone. So County 60, meanwhile 45 for 4, 7 overs in their chase of 109. That partnership in, as we've been accustomed to seeing Charlie Hutter-Hins with Savaroo Chandran. Chandran just entered the fray. Some man's head spin incline strokes pace there for West Council.
Oh,
Good catch.
Wow. Benjaminito Davis.
The number there, it's definitely his frame. It might be.
Got off his feet, dove to his right, and took it with 2 hands as well, didn't he?
With Fujioka Fletcher, it is.
Brilliant.
Man, it looks pretty easy.
Yeah, great catch, Shima. Tell you what, 2 of the best. I'm thinking the other, probably the catcher we've seen in front of us on number 1, Dylan Fujioka Fletcher. His grab was a very good one yesterday. Perhaps catch of the day for me.
Oh, has to be, doesn't it? So we saw Hutter-Hins down at long on take a really good catch as well.
Yes,
I have a feeling Hutter-Hins might have just lost his wicket actually in the other field. I've just seen a player walk off. So wickets on both grounds. And while North Council still raging favourites to take this game, just a question being asked of the middle order now. Kim strings off. We know that there are potentially 2 players who won't back North Council. Ronald Thomas and Bates. in.
A triple appeal. You don't often hear it in Japanese players, but it sounded like Miyuchi to me. Convinced. You can see that one going to the last over, Daniel, on ground 2.
Suria's first ball working to the leg side, hoping the batting in the match this time yesterday. Tell you what, that game does go to the last over down there, and finish a little early. We might just meander. We'll be able to catch the end of that game.
Yeah, cool.
Baisley. Happy to defend.
You think as they close in on the target or not? In fact, I hold the question to after this delivery.
Of course, Surya wants one. Thought for a moment Kendall might have been able to intercept that ball, not to be. The table over there.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I'd ever give consideration to net run rate and try and, as they inch closer, just 26 runs away, they'll try and get it done quickly. They're up their net run rate, but I don't think it really matters with the batting of the match. North Country have been on 1 with other teams on 2. It will come down to other results whether they make that 3rd, 4th playoff. East Kanto's chances of making the final, well, they're going to have to rely on other results. The defending champs could be out tomorrow afternoon, 2 PM. Do tune in. Do subscribe to Japan Cricket. All the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and X. Follow the progress of the union. I did print out a copy of their strategy, and it's at the moment Kaika, which means time to flourish. We've certainly started well. We think of recent successes in the under-19s, of course, making the under-19 World Cup held next year, early next year, I believe January, February perhaps, and also cricket being retained in the Asian Games to be held here in Nagoya, Japan next year.
Davis into Baisley, just the 1.
Of course, as hosts Japan, who knows, they could be up against India, the might of Pakistan, perhaps New Zealand, Australia to be, sorry, not New Zealand, Australia, but Asian teams, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India. India, the current holders of the gold medal at the Asian Games. You may know more than me, Daniel, but they didn't send their top 10,
no,
did they?
it was
still
T20 eyes, but they seemed
Yep.
to sort of go, might have been between the 2nd and the 3rd 11. It's
Right.
Coasted. The thing about India, it's not a case of who you pick, it's not a case of what you can pick, it's picking the right team at the right time. A couple of youngsters in that group, remember Harsh, that were first on, and he's going to find T20 World Cup after it anyway. Ravi Bishnoi, those type of players who are playing such elite cricket in front of 80 to 100,000 people anyway, so they understand the pressures of any sort of game, let alone in the Asian Games. Big swing and a miss, and I'd like to see them at the Olympics in 2028 as well. See a flurry of traffic come across the road here.
Yeah.
Ratner thinking that was going on to hit the top of off stump, and just missing North Kanto.
Yeah, just the one run coming from the over. 15 done. Absolutely no cause for concern. There's 23 runs are just needed now, and 7 overs. Coasting towards victory here in North Kanto, thanks to Beasley. He's 18 of 23, and earlier on his partnership, Grufan Mo made 29 at the top. Keshi Ryukai chipped in with an 8.
Just undoes Takahashi, reaches the 1. Inside edge, Baisley calls him through, throw to the bowler's end.
Big celebration on ground too. This Kanto are thrilled. I just wonder if that's Sabarush Ravichandran.
I think you might be right. Those coloured gloves are the giveaway. 200 metres away.
And it's Ryan Drake who's taken his wicket. You mentioned earlier how they actually did well with Kanto to get up to 108 in the position they're in. I did notice Ryan Drake carded a 6 in the final over.
Caught and bowled this whistle. Over there in field 2. 51 for 6. You've got to say that just making out favourites, and just another seesawing game here at the JPL.
Sokawada also chipped in 20 off just 10 balls. Beans are happy with that.
A little darky just with the sun behind that cloud. So no threat of rain. Ryan Drake is ripping through the Super Kings over on field 2.
They making the case to advance to the final. We have to wait to final round tomorrow morning, 10 AM. That gets underway. The weather tomorrow is sunshine all day long. That's a high of 22. So, call on the final round, Daniel, tomorrow morning as to who actually is confirmed as the top 2. The only team really out of contention for the finals, North Kanto Lions. 4 teams will still have that opportunity. Still hear a slight rumble of thunder in the background.
Wide signal. We're going to get through both of these games of cricket, fortunately. So just a fraction across the line. Half a shout. Might have been two noises though, a little tickle onto the pad. And it's sitting low by, but
Yeah, I thought I heard 2 noises myself. Perfect carry of sound from both grounds here. You can hear the Eagles Day on ground number 2 with the kick of West Gunter. Driven down to long on just for a simple single. Basically thinks of a second, but he may take it.
it's definitely thunder, isn't it? You hear the background. First time, might have been plane or fighters there or something that gets basket. Not going to get 2 of those. This game in the end is 2 men's. It's the North Hunter Lions who are inches away from their first success here at the tournament. 2, 5 overs remain. Still need 15. If we were to take a look at the table, assuming the matches go the way we think they will. Well struck, and not bothering to even go fetch that ball because Kulasuri has just hit it into the nets behind the sight screen before.
You're just having a look at the stats. This delivery, sorry. Stats from ground 2. Ryan Drake 4 for 5. He's got 1 more over, so just casting takes the ball again. Good to see it after the tournament.
Samad finished with 4, and speaking of 4, it's probably another 4 runs to Kulasuria. Beats the man chasing to the cover rope.
You hear the continuous roll of thunder. Looks like that's our Chargers just packing up. The expectation maybe a shower. We'll get through this game okay. Hopefully also on ground 2.
Important with the Mahesh Papage and the grounds crew, will probably mean that they get the covers on in time as well. So a win for North Hunter will take them to 3 points from 4 matches. They don't get to play in the round robin tomorrow. And so adds another little facet into proceedings. You get a better chance at the end of this over to sort of run through the permutations. The bottom edge. Come back for 2 to end the over. And it would be just 5 for victory in the final 4 overs, 90 for 2. If you look at the table, a win here for the Lions are taking 3 points, but as you mentioned, they've got the bye to begin tomorrow. Yes, Hunter with a win over on the other ground would go to second on 4 points. And then tomorrow we have of course one round of matches in the morning before the placement games in the afternoon.
I'm just running it between East Canton and South Canton. The loser of that match was in the South.
A wide signal. They'll come back for second, which means that it might have actually come off the back. One signal, non-signal.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Just looking at the permutations. You can safely say 14 still in the chance to make the final.
And an exclamation mark of sorts from Baisley to finish the job. Lifting over the leg side, muscled for 4. It's a first win at the tournament for the North Canto Lions. Taste success through a successful chase of 95 on the SICG number 1 ground. Just adds another little spanner in the works in the run to the final in the placement games. But if we were to look at this particular match, they really did dominate almost from start to finish in the power play. Maybe one partnership of note from East Canto, but other than that, the North Canto Lions had the upper hand, and it remained that way for almost the entirety of today.
Yeah, East Canto with the bat. It was really only the partnership between Benjamin Ethel Davis and Navratna, wasn't it? Good little cameo from Kinto to the bow at the end. Also Zabir Khan. But Baisley, I want to say, he's captain enough, he captained well.
Yeah.
Positioned the field very well. Used his bowlers well. Not having, perhaps knowing the team. Having arrived a few days ago, but marshalled his troops well. Makaran Jones 3 for 16. Kulasari is 2 for 13. James Baisley in the South 3 for 18. Really a subpar total that they easily chased down, led again by James Baisley.
3 wickets in the bowling effort, 2 up front, 1 at the back end, finished with 3 for 18, 3.1 overs, and then the maturity just to see out the chase, making an unbeaten 26. Sean Slater picking up 2 wickets in the efforts of the Sunrisers in the afternoon. And that just about wraps it all up here from SICG number 1. As you can see there, rather dark Sana this afternoon. Overcasting those players on the monitor, as you can see, walking over to the covers, maybe just for some damage limitation, for some rain that could well come in. We'll make sure that we're not prevented the chance of the day's action tomorrow. 1 final round of round robin action in the morning, and then our placement games, a 3rd, 4th place playoff, and the final in the afternoon. Make sure you tune in to that tomorrow on the JCA YouTube channel. Now we're going to catch the final glimpses of the match on the Sano International Cricket Ground number 2. But on behalf of Garth Thomas and myself, Daniel Beswick, thank you once again for joining us here on the JCA YouTube channel. More action and plenty of action of the highest quality tomorrow in Sano as we crown the JPL 10 winner. But for now, here at the home of Japan cricket, it is goodbye.